goofiness is about to begin. Hello and welcome to Post Production Podcast. You're listening to Adam and Mr. Drew as we talk about movies, TV shows, gaming news, trailers, a bunch of stuff, anything that comes into our noggins and we just want to have a giggle about. We're based out of Las Vegas. This is our second episode.
And we're both super tired right now.
Yeah, we're both kind of shy.
If you can tell.
You know, I don't know if we're going to post it or not, but we actually have already taped this and we had to chuck it. So we're just kind of like, okay, cool. You know, growing pains. You know, we're figuring this out as we go, but we're having fun while we're doing it. So, Adam, welcome back to the abode.
Thank you. Thank you.
So today we've got, mostly we're going to talk about some trailers, Justice League, Star Wars The Last Jedi, the new Mutants, horror movie that Marvel's putting together, which looks exciting, season 2 of Stranger Things, season 3 premiere of Mr. Robot, which was phenomenal. And actually, because we're like a little couple days late on this, the new Black Panther trailer dropped on us just like a couple of hours ago. We're going to talk about that and how exciting that is. And then we're both probably going to pick apart and relay our disgust at the new Star Trek series, Discovery.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
It's pretty bad.
So, Adam, let's kick it off. What do you want to start with?
Okay, so I think we should just get Justice League out of the way.
All right. Okay.
Just because I'm sick of I'm sick of seeing this stuff, man. Like, just show me the movie. I feel like I've already seen all of the movie. Like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I know what's gonna happen in this movie. Like, the only thing I haven't seen is the Return of Superman, which is the only thing I'm really excited about. Everything else, like, whatever. It's just a bunch of them fighting these parademons. CGI. You know.
And we talked about this before, that this actually looks like a video game with live actors.
Yeah, it looks like a video game cutscene. Yeah. It's the final trailer, so we're not going to see any more. Hopefully, there's going to be some TV spots.
There'll be some TV spots, I think.
But
and of course, in the beginning, they totally tease us with showing us Superman, and we're like, okay, cool, finally, yeah, okay, all right, there he is. He's on the cornfield, you know, looking for the children of the corn. And then, of course, it's a dream, and we're going, really, you know, just put him in a black suit. Show it to us. Come on.
Well,
give me some dark Superman.
See, I wouldn't like it if they put it in the trailer. The reveal of the black suit Superman should be in the movie. Like, if they put it in the trailer, it would just be Batman versus Superman all over again, where they didn't leave any surprises out. They put everything in the trailer. So I think they learned their lesson a little bit. Hopefully there's a lot of this movie that we still haven't seen. I just feel like we've seen a lot.
Okay, all right. Now, I don't think we talked about this before, but now, from what I understand, the dark Superman is an evil Superman. No, he's not.
No, this is just a black suit Superman, so he's not evil. No, this one is, at least I think. He's not evil. Like, it's just the kind of reincarnation of him.
Okay.
This is how he comes back.
Okay. So he's like Superman Shadow 2.0.
Yeah. And I mean, in the comics, he has a mullet, so people want the mullet. And I'm going to get behind it because...
Is there a significance to the mullet? Like, does he draw power from the mullet? Does he, like, if he gets a little mullet yank, you know, he gets like an extra burst. It's like a recharge battery. That would actually be kind of funny. Because I used to rock a mullet. I have pictures.
Oh, I bet.
I'm not ashamed. That was, that was the style.
That was it.
Yeah, mullet Drew.
See, and I mean, they put mullet Superman because it was like popular at the time, but it would just be so funny, like 2017, like Superman, just Henry Cavill, and a mullet. That'd be great. But I'm excited to see if this movie is an utter disappointment or if it surprises me, because if it's as good as Wonder Wonder Woman, like I'll be happy
Mm-hmm.
because Wonder Woman was a solid movie. There are things I didn't like about it, but it was the best thing in the DC universe
So far, by
so
far, so
far.
far, yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So since we're just kind of starting this off, and we have yet to kind of get a good format down on how we want to kind of view things. Now, for you, what makes a movie a good movie?
I think when well the storytelling, the characters, I think first and foremost the characters. I think in Batman versus Superman we didn't get a lot of character development. People were just kind of doing things just because.
Yeah.
Like Lex Luthor was crazy just because, and Batman hated Superman just because,
Yeah.
and Superman hated Batman just because. Like there was nothing to that movie. Wonder Woman, they show us the origin. They show us her innocence, in this crazy world, like when she finally arrives.
Like her naivety.
Yeah.
Right. But then, I mean, they also give you an in-depth of that she cares. Like she
legitimately.
she was raised to care, and she was kind of raised to kind of be this protector of man.
Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah.
she deeply is kind of like invested in it.
Yeah, and that's something that I think people missed with like Man of Steel too. Is like no one really got that from that Superman movie. Like he was just kind of. It was a very serious. Like he wasn't hopeful, and he wasn't like, "Let me save everyone." Like there was this kind of weird thing. Like it's your duty.
Well, I think in Man of Steel,
Misinterpret-
he was still kind of trying to figure out where he fit into everything.
Yeah,
And it wasn't until he kind of got into that ship, and then he was like, "Oh, look, the S is,
Means hope.
Kryptonian for hope," which would have been easier if it was an H, but then he would have been Hope Man, which
Hope
doesn't
Man.
really kind of roll off the tongue as good.
No, I think so.
Super Hope Man, Hopeless, the
Hopeful.
hopeful.
Ooh.
Ooh, copyright. I own it.
But no, like I think first and foremost, like the characters, developing them. Also, the villain. I think even though Wonder Woman, I think was an underwhelming villain, I think it's still important. So I think they kind of missed on that. But as far as a good movie, characters all the way around, not only for the protagonist but also the antagonist, giving us both sides,
Gotcha.
and then just world building. I want to be immersed in the world. If it's gonna be something new and fresh, like I want to experience it. And then I think just proper storytelling and having things that not a lot of junk, not a lot of like just dead space and filler
bullshit,
just
right?
nothingness. Like I want everything to have a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be entertaining, and just know your tone. If you're all over the place, then I don't know. But if it's a good balance of things like seriousness, comedy, if that's part of the tone, then that's what I want. Like in a Marvel movie, I expect that. And when they deliver that, it's like, okay, yeah, like this is good. I like this. But when DC is trying to be like serious and stuff, and then they throw in some jokes, it doesn't work. I'm like, if you try to be serious, just be serious. And if you try to be like fun and colorful, be that. Like,
Right.
but
I think DC has this massive disadvantage because
yeah,
they're
absolutely.
playing catch up, and I think the one thing that they're trying not to do is just mimic the Marvel movies. They kind of want to have their own style and their own thing like that. But I mean, I get all those points. I agree with a lot of those points. I'm a little bit simpler. Like for me, if it's a good movie, I can watch it multiple times.
Yeah.
Like I can, if I'm bored, I can be like, you know what, I'm just gonna pop this in. Even though I've seen it 3 or 4 or 5 times,
Yeah.
it's still entertaining for me. If I see a movie once and I could give a rat's ass to ever see it again, then it didn't make any kind of impact on me. It didn't make me think about anything. I didn't get invested in anything. I didn't care about any of the characters. I certainly didn't care about the story.
Yeah.
But if I can see something multiple times, it's hitting something inside me that makes me want to kind of invest my time in just watching it over again. Okay.
I get that, yeah.
Cool. So we're excited for Justice League. We want to get it out already.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, I can't wait for that episode though. Like our thoughts on Justice League. I think that's gonna be a really fun one.
Hopefully, it'll be a positive one, and we won't tear it apart. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, any other final thoughts on Justice League?
No, just
You know.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, man.
I am as well. I think part of it for me is just I'm actually going to enjoy watching Aquaman because he looks like
Oh yeah,
Jason Momoa. It looks like he's just having the time of his life in this movie.
Yeah, like,
So,
and I love when you can see that, and he definitely embodies that. So yeah, I think he's gonna be a huge highlight.
all right, so let's talk about the New Mutants since we're in that. So we just talked about DC. Let's talk a little bit about Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So we had this surprise kind of trailer drop on us with the New Mutants.
Yeah, so Friday the 13th was this last Friday, of course, and I was not expecting this trailer at all. I don't even think you knew a lot about this movie.
I had no clue.
Yeah. So
Not at all.
I had heard some rumblings and heard a few early things, but nothing like major, just some casting news and stuff like that. And I had heard they were trying to do like a horror spin on this mutant story, but then we get the trailer and it's like full on, like just full on horror. And I'm excited. I'm not I think you and I both, like, we're not huge horror people.
No,
Yeah.
no,
So,
not since I was.
yeah. But like,
Not since I was a wee lad. You know.
but I think because it's X-Men, because it's mutants involved, like, I mean, I'm just super excited because I don't know what to expect.
What a setting to pick.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a mental hospital. We're gonna take some kids that are raging hormones, confusion, probably authority issues, and everything under the boat. We're gonna give them mutant powers, and then we're gonna make a horror movie. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
I'm all
absolutely.
over that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing having a horror movie with Jason Voorhees. I think I said that totally wrong. Jason Voorhees, right?
I have no idea.
Friday the 13th. Jason.
I just know him as Jason.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm probably triggering a bunch of people right now. But anyway, so we have Jason, right? Friday the 13th, wears a hockey mask, wields a machete, goes around killing everyone, and can't die. Basically, just absolutely can never, ever die.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Makes a cool horror movie. But now we have legit people with mutant powers, which just takes the horror to, like, I don't know where it's going to go level.
Yeah. Yeah, anything is possible at this point. And I don't know if it's their powers that are doing these things or...
An outside influence?
Yeah, so... And we didn't get much story. This was just the first trailer.
Yeah, it's
Just
basically
like-
a lot of screaming.
Yeah, a lot of screaming, a lot of weird stuff going on. And that's about it.
And the cast lineup so far looks fantastic. Maisie Williams is in it from Game of Thrones, and she's been, this is her element right now. This is her time to shine. I mean, she's just probably going to be in demand for a while because she's just so popular with people. We got Charlie Heaton, who was he was the brother in Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things, yeah.
Did
He's
a
Will's
phenomenal
brother.
job in that. So I'm excited. I can't wait. I
Yeah,
think it's
this is
going to be
gonna-
a nice twist to the Marvel Universe, and we're going to have some fun with that.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Because this is the Fox X-Men universe. So, and I think we should commend Fox on doing things a little different. Because, like, Logan, they went in that R-rated direction that ended up being really, really good.
Yes.
And then,
that
Deadpool
was how Wolverine
should be.
needed to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just visceral, raw, primal, animalistic.
Yeah,
I am talking about a movie, not porn. People, okay.
Logan the
But
movie.
You can call me later on that.
But yeah, kudos to Fox for doing things, outside the box. So this just looks like another one that's going to be really, really good.
So now, bridging two things together,
Mm-hmm.
we have the second season of Stranger Things coming out here
Yeah.
relatively soon.
Mm-hmm.
And No, we had talked a little bit about this before. I loved the first season. I thought it was incredible. I loved the kids. I loved the dynamic of the characters. I thought Winona Ryder was fabulous, and she was just played batshit crazy. Not like a few other people out there. But then, I personally had kind of a little bit of a disconnect with the ending.
Yeah, you didn't like the ending. I thought it was fine because I feel like it gave you enough to where you're like, what is this alternative, dimension? What is the upside down? And you don't really know anything about it. You kind of had a problem with it because they didn't explain anything.
Well, I think for me, I just had a different expectation. Like, it just didn't, for me, I was just kind of like, wait, what? That's not really kind of what I was expecting. Like, I have a very, very broad imagination, I think, with anybody who gets to know me. And you'll probably, our listeners that kind of stick with us and have fun with our podcast, you'll come to know that I can kind of really, really go outside the box. So, for me, it just, I'm waiting to see how they kind of evolve this, spoiler, this kind of alternate dimension, this flip side of our reality that, for me, I think we talked about this before. For me, when I think of an alternate reality or an alternate dimension, I think about two sides of a mirror where it's the same picture, but it's backwards. So one may be good, one may be evil, one may be left, one may be right. So that's kind of like, what I was expecting, not this floating kind of dark, shadowy, ash-filled, weird alien.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. I think they will explain a lot more about it, and I think you'll probably come to like what it is. And then, they tease this kind of merging between the two, how the Upside Down is kind of taking over the real world.
Like that barrier has been kind of blurred.
Yeah.
We've got this overlap, so that should make for some fun episodes.
Yeah, and I'm excited, to see, because Will is back, and now he's having all of these visions of the Upside Down, and he sees both sides. Like, he has flashes of both sides. So I'm curious to see what that is. We have 11 back, which, they were just upfront about that in this trailer. Like, 11's back.
And she was phenomenal in the first series.
Yeah. And she's such a cool, like, person. All the kids are so cool, like, in real life. It's so, like, nice to see them succeeding, and, like, they deserve all the best. So I'm just excited for what they're doing. Really.
And I don't think we get to see that a lot. I mean, in this series, in the first season, you had these kids that, they were put in a situation. They dealt with all these different things, but you really saw that they enjoyed what they were doing as far as like actors.
Yeah.
That they enjoyed what they were doing and they were having a good time, and they really kind of nailed what they needed to do. And then outside of the film, and when you see them in person, they're having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
And you see that kind of that connection of energy. So I'm excited to see them bring that back in season 2. And them all get together and just start getting into some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Yep.
Moving right along. That's a good side question. Have you seen the original Muppet movie?
Oh, not at all.
So, folks, that's another jot down on my list of cultural teaching for Adam here. Side note, actually, because our first episode, we talked about and we reviewed Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
The director of that is now moving on, and he is going to be doing the reboot of Dune. Now, some of you older fuddy-duddies like myself, who grew up, with this phenomenal sci-fi movie, I am just raging excited for this. So I've got Dune. I've got the original Dune for Adam. He's going to watch it this week sometime. We're going to talk about it this weekend. Yeah. And I cannot wait to pick his brain on this.
Yeah, I've literally no idea what I'm in for. Like, I don't know what Dune is. like at all.
And this is actually going to be an interesting test for Adam because the original Blade Runner still holds up.
Yeah.
Like it really still holds up. But on a side note, they really didn't have a whole lot of futuristic things to sell you on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing was the flying cars, some of the tech, but it wasn't really, there weren't spaceships, there weren't aliens, there weren't other planets, there wasn't all this kind of need for extra special effects. Now with Dune, that's all in there. It's all in the bag, and it'll be an interesting kind of take on watching something that's 30 years old, and seeing how he kind of like can either get into it, not get into it, and just be like,
we'll see.
Dumbest thing I've ever seen.
We'll discuss it. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we had the season 3 premiere of Mr. Robot.
Yes, one of my favorite shows. All right. Yeah. Oh my God. Like, this is a show that I feel like I just want to tell everyone about it. I just want everyone to experience the show because it's so well done. I mean, this premiere showed that it's still an amazing show.
Yeah, it's still it's dotting all the I's, it's crossing all the T's, it's hitting you everywhere you want it to be hit as you've gone on this journey from the first and second seasons. Not going to be any spoilers in this. It's just going to be just
just our brief thoughts.
Just brief thoughts on it. We had some introduction of a new character who I think was absolutely spot on. Just brought a whole nother level of this. I mean, what is this show? This is, I mean, how would you label it? I mean, a psychological thriller?
I'd say, I think the second season, you can kind of label it as that. But the first season, you don't know it's a psychological thriller yet.
Until later on.
Yeah,
so.
I just, there are so many elements to the show. You can label it as a million different things, and they'd all fit. Like, there are so many good elements. There's drama, there's suspense, there's crime, there's mystery, there's a million different things. Yeah.
And basically a show that, I mean, almost like the main premise of it is hacking, computer hacking and computer manipulation. They really don't make you feel or put you in any kind of position of, if you don't know anything, if you don't know squat about computers, you're not going to like this show. I haven't felt that at all. I mean, I do know something about computers. I don't know anything about hacking or coding. So I felt completely comfortable watching this because I don't think that they really send you in that whole direction of.
And I heard that all of the hacking like scenes, all of that stuff is pretty accurate. Like, it's pretty spot on is what I've heard. And the fact that they can do it accurately and do it so it's not like completely boring to the general viewer, like, that's a really unique and really great balance that they've struck. So progressing season to season 1, it was great. I loved it. Season 2, like, kicked it up like 10 notches. And I was like, I am so on board. And it just flips everything on its head. And now we have season 3, and everything is just wild. Like, and I can only imagine where we're going to go this season. So, yeah, I mean, great first episode. What do you think?
Season 2 ended, and you're just going, okay, wait, what's going on? Because in this show, what they show you is not really, you can't really take that at a face value. And that's all I'm going to say as far as, like, in that perspective. So, there were a lot of questions at the end of season 2.
Yes.
And the thing I liked about it the most, the way they started this season, is that they're not making us wait 2 or 3 episodes in to kind of get those initial questions out of the way of, oh, wait, you made us wait.
Yeah.
They're
for
not this to come back, and then now you're gonna make. I hate it when shows do that.
Yeah, like, The Walking Dead.
Don't even get me started on the most regurgitated repeat show in history. Find a place, defend a place, lose a place, people die. Hey, find a place, defend a place, lose people, move.
Yeah, it's just I'm done with that show, but that's another conversation. But this is a show that doesn't do that. That there are no filler episodes. There are no just nothing scenes. Like everything has a meaning. Everything has some kind of repercussion. This show is so well done.
I almost feel like there is a great parallel in storytelling
Mm-hmm.
from Mr. Robot and Blade Runner.
How so?
Well, because a lot of things that people say in Blade Runner and in Mr. Robot has
There's
meanings. There's double meanings. There's kind of these little
Yeah.
inflections. Some of the scenes that you see in Blade Runner and in Mr. Robot have specific meanings, and you don't really think about it when you're watching it, but then you're going,
Yeah.
"Oh man, this is just clicking in so many ways." So, I don't know if that's kind of a far stretch, but that's kind of how I take it. Now, I really struggled in the first couple seasons connecting with. Let me look up her name real quick.
Oh, Angela.
Portia Doubleday,
Yeah.
right? Who
Perfect.
plays Angela Moss. And I love her. Like,
Yeah.
I just fell in love with her at the start of this season because I was just kind of I felt a little disconnected with her. And now I'm just like, okay, yeah, I cannot wait to see more of you.
And then, of course, Rami Malek is still amazing. This is his like definitive character. Like
This is only him.
Yeah, no one else can do this.
No one else is going to pull this off.
Yeah, no.
And there's I think very, very few roles like this on TV or in movies or anything like that. I would almost kind of put this into perspective of it. Did you ever watch Dexter?
No, but I heard it's really good.
And this goes on the culture list.
Add it to the list.
Actually, I can't really do that to Adam. That's too many seasons to catch up on. But I mean, you had Michael C. Hall played basically this serial killer.
Yeah.
But he does it in such a way, and his inflections, his everything in that show. I don't think anyone else could have done it the same, and it would have been a completely different show. Same thing with Rami Malek. You put anybody else in this role, the show's completely different. It's not the same. It's especially his facial expressions.
Yeah, a lot of his acting is silent. Like he doesn't need to say anything, and a lot of it is it's voiceover. We hear it and you just see his face. He does such a good job at portraying what the lines are saying. When he's filming, it's completely different. So the fact that he can do that and do it so well, like it still impresses me. Yeah.
I mean, he definitely deserves the awards that he has. I hope he gets more. I mean, because already they're knocking it out of the park with the first episode. So excited to see more. Anyone who hasn't seen this, it's definitely one of my top 10 TV shows that I'm excited to see evolve into more and more seasons. Any other final thoughts on Mr. Robot?
Now, they haven't said this, but do you think, how far can you go with the show? Do you think this is the last season? Do you think, how long do you expect this show to go on?
Well, actually that's a good question because I think at this point they're on a little bit of a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to talk about this in a non-spoiler way because they really delved on this in this first episode of season 3 where a lot of the things that are happening in this show directly relate to what's going on in our social climate in the present day with our president, with our economy, with how everyone feels about each other. I think the slippery slope part comes where you've got a show to kind of sell to an audience. Now, we already know that all of the episodes have been taped and they're already pretty much done.
Yeah.
They're not doing any more filming. So, given that we've already made so many connections with our current president, with the state of the economy
Yeah.
and politics and everything else like that. And it's a very visceral, I think, adaptation because no, I don't think anybody in our country is happy with what's going on. I don't think anybody's happy with our president. I don't think anybody's happy with, the
Just
state
the
of our
state
economy,
of the world,
the state of our politics, our relationship with other countries.
Yeah,
And on top of all of that, we have continual natural disasters, which are pushing all of those things even farther. Now,
and then you have the show that, I mean, it's kind of a worst case scenario, right?
Exactly.
And if the world is already like shit, then, where do you go? Do you go worse? Do you go better? Like, I see your point.
Yeah. So I hope, and I hope that I'm wrong on this, but because we don't know what new crazy batshit stuff is going to come out of our president's mouth, I can easily see him directly, like, either making this show so controversial, even though it's already been filmed, or maybe nothing even happens at all. But I was kind of thinking about that, and I was going, this could really, really launch this thing into a whole nother atmosphere of entertainment where it's in the political spotlight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, where the president becomes a focal point of the story.
Yeah.
Like, directly involved.
Yeah.
And it's a story basically where the president is the antagonist. I feel like that would be the next step, and that would just be crazy.
Yeah, which isn't far for Trump because all he's doing is antagonizing people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I not to get political or anything, but
we got.
So that's kind of my fear with this because it's such a good show. I don't want it to be ruined by all the craziness that's going on with our current situation and social atmosphere right now. But any other final thoughts?
No, I think we'll come back to this when the season's over, and we can talk full spoilers about everything.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay, so moving right along, let's get a little negativity out of the way.
Let's try a lot of negativity.
A lot of negativity. Okay, so Adam hasn't. I mean, besides the first movie by J.J. Abrams, who kind of rebooted the Star Trek movie subplot with
Chris Pine.
Yeah. Oh man, just brain fart big time.
Look, I don't know.
Okay, which for a lot of people was a little controversial because he, the whole timeline's altered. So besides that movie, hasn't seen any of the original series, Star Trek,
Nope.
DS9 or Next Generation or Voyager or any of those. So,
Nope.
So he got to watch the first 4 episodes of Star Trek Discovery.
And I loved it. No, just kidding.
And that's it for today, folks. Join us next week.
I can't say that I completely hated it, but yeah, I really just, I didn't like it very much. I will not be coming back. It was kind of tough to get through. I just didn't get it. Like,
Right.
I didn't get the point. Characters were okay. Like, actually, the main character, I wanted to, because it's Sasha from The Walking Dead. Like,
Right. You're like, hey, cool. I mean, because she, spoiler,
died.
if you haven't, she died in Walking Dead. So, obviously she's not coming back unless in somebody's dreams or flashbacks, but nobody has any of those. So you're like, okay, you're excited. Okay, cool. She's got a new show.
Yeah,
like
she's gonna be
in this. I mean,
good.
she's in a canon that has massive popularity.
Yeah, like, this is going to be really good.
Right.
But
But then you start watching it and you're like, are you kidding me? Come on.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to get behind this character. It's hard to like her. Michael is her name, which I don't understand. I'm not going to be around for when they explain that, but tell me when they do.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just trying to I can't really understand if they're trying to bridge any kind of social or feminist or any kind of
Yeah, I don't know if
bridge or
they're
gap by giving your main female character a male name. And it's not a male name that could be either or, like Aaron
or like Alex or
or like
something.
Alex or something like that. It's Michael.
Like
Yeah.
I've
It's like the alternate spelling of Michael is Michelle.
or Michaela.
Or what?
Michaela.
Or Michaela, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you said Kayla. And I was like, okay, I don't hear things.
No.
But Michael Burnham is her character name in this, and
When I first like saw that on the IMDb, I was like, "Wait, huh?"
it looks like a typo.
Yeah,
It looks
yeah.
like a typo.
It looks like a misdirect.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to know who she is, so her name is Michael Burnham.
And
no.
you know what? I mean, even like looking at it and saying it, it's not a soft name. It's not a feminine name. I mean, it is a male, hard, and it's even kind of a little bit of a, almost like a, I'm searching for the right word here. I want to say confrontational name.
Yeah, like a name of kind of a leader or a character.
An antagonist or something like that, which actually she pretty much is in this series.
Yeah, yeah.
So if this was just a new sci-fi fantasy space show that popped onto Netflix, and it wasn't,
It wasn't Star Trek.
It wasn't Star Trek. If it was just a sci-fi spaceship kind of fantasy show, do you think you would have gotten through, or would you had even done all 4 episodes?
Well, I think because of the Star Trek name, I expected a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I expected this quality because there's a huge fan base behind it. It's like, yeah, they're not going to do anything to mess this up. Like, they're going to be careful about this. But, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are disappointed already. So, if this was like just a no-name sci-fi, I probably would have been gone after the first or second episode.
Mm-hmm.
But even knowing that Star Trek, like even after the 4th episode, I think I'm done. Like there's really nothing for me.
There's
it's
no
just
draw for you. There's just
yeah.
no investment.
There are so many other things that I could be watching.
Right.
And nowadays you're constantly fighting for people's viewership. Like you have to be the best. If you're mediocre, like look at Inhumans. Like they're not going anywhere because they just they
butchered it.
Yeah, they ruined it.
Yeah.
So, do you think Discovery's going to get a second season?
I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I would. Well, you know what?
We'll see how it plays out.
I'll watch the whole. I'll
Yeah.
watch the whole. Season,
Mhm.
and hopefully, it'll get a little bit better. I'm already 5 episodes in, and I'm just going, okay, there's some character development and there's some things going on here, but you're really just not selling me on this whole thing. It doesn't make any sense for me. I mean, for them going back in time and now they're altering everything again, where, I mean, in this inflection, now we have 3 different timelines.
Yeah.
In Star Trek. We have
Yeah.
the original, which went all the way through all of the other previous shows, Deep Space Nine and The Next Generation, and now you had the movies kind of got rebooted, and again they did an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
And instead of either picking one of those and continuing it, or just going in the future and bringing back some characters from some of the other series, they went back in time again and started this whole new reboot, and they're changing the timeline a 3rd time. I think everyone's done with this kind of manipulation of reboots and things like that. I mean, we have Spider-Man, for instance, been rebooted 4 different times.
Yes, but also this is the best one. I think this is the one that people want to see. I think he's the best Peter Parker. I think he's the best Spider-Man. I think the characterization is spot on. And I think they hit enough points, and of course it's in the Marvel universe, that people are happy.
Yeah.
So it works. Star Trek Discovery isn't working.
Isn't working at all. Yeah.
So this is bad.
Yeah. It's and we could probably spend an hour butchering this. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that, but I was interested to see Adam's kind of perspective on it, because mine's going to be skewed. I have history with Star Trek. I've kind of watched pretty much everything that was Star Trek, and I had watched all 4 episodes before he had, so I was kind of really interested to see an outside, fresh perspective, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, because the show is just that bad. Yeah. So sorry for those of you out there that are invested in it, or you think it's good. I have hope for it, but I just don't see. I mean, 5 episodes, that's pretty much half the season. You're in half the season, and you're still fumbling. So I just don't see it kind of taking off on a positive note. Any other?
No, I think I'm done. I'm good.
So I'll keep him updated on that on a sideline. So before we get into Star Wars, we had the surprise trailer of Black Panther drop on us just a few hours ago.
Yeah, this morning.
Wow.
Man, this looks so good. Like, it was such a nice surprise to just go on my Twitter feed and see that it dropped. It's like, hey, here's the new trailer for Black Panther. Yes, please. And everything looks so good. And the cast, when they announced the cast, before we even saw anything, I was like, this is gonna be next level. Like, Marvel is just pushing its limits when it comes to casting and quality of actors. Like, everyone is A+ in this film.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
You know, the first couple snippets that you got from the previous trailers was like, okay, cool. You know, I mean, if anybody knows anything about Black Panther, you know, the entire Wakanda society is just so far ahead of everything else. Mm-hmm. And they really, they touched on it on the previous trailers, and you're going, okay, cool, I can kind of see this. But in this one, it's like, yeah, they might as well be on a different planet.
Yeah,
almost, because it's that far ahead.
Yeah, and I love seeing that. I love seeing the machinery and the technology that they have, because it does look like it's another planet. It looks like another world, and I think they got that really, really right.
I think they nailed it. I can't get sold on it.
What do you mean?
Okay, so, you know, from the trailer, they're flying around in some kind of hover ship thing, which no one else has.
Yeah.
The technology. And they fly through some invisible barrier that obviously cloaks the city or whatever from prying eyes, and I'm assuming satellites and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then you get shown this urban utopia, and it's futuristic, and there's all kinds of things going on, and you're going, okay, well, all right, cool. Yeah, how do you keep that a secret? Like, seriously, how do you keep... Okay, we're not talking about a little village of like 50 people. We're talking about an urban city of...
Well, this is a nation.
Yeah,
this is
a whole nation
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, you
know...
Well,
this is comic books,
man. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to argue realistic thinking in a comic book.
Come on.
In a comic book atmosphere.
Have some fun, man.
You know, that's how my brain kind of ticks off. I was going...
I mean, there are a lot of things in Marvel movies that you can be like, well, how did that happen? How did they get away with that?
Yeah.
I think the trick is to not think about it too much, but also I think they'll have an explanation, but don't think about it too much.
Don't think about it too much.
Just accept it as it is and enjoy.
But that's kind of just how my mind worked on that. But you know what I do love is, even though they're far obviously superior in technology, there is a very, very blatant presence of culture.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, even though we could probably all walk around in spacesuits and like this kind of custom armor, we don't, because we embrace our heritage, and the heritage is important to us. So I love how they're kind of using that mix and balance. I'm excited to see how all of these characters play out, because we really got, am I thinking of Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
We've really got a good look of Michael B. Jordan and his
And
antagonist role.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy yeah, buddy.
Yeah, like, and it was cool because in the first like teaser trailer we see the shot of him and he's kind of like doing a pose and it cuts, but in this one it extends out a little bit and then you see he has a suit on. That's what's the character? Do you know?
Well, he just says Eric. It just says Eric Killmonger. But
yeah,
I mean, the suit that he kind of dons, I mean, the way when it morphed and you saw the mask, I immediately thought cheetah.
Yeah. He's kind of
like a leopard or a
jaguar
cheetah
or something like that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, a Black Panther is a jaguar. It's a black jaguar.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe this is just kind of that flip side. But I was like, this is gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a great action movie, a
the
roller coaster.
Action looks really, really good. I love that balance of like the African culture and just insane technology and advances in technology. There's some scenes like with the car chase. I think that's in like Korea, is what it looked like. Some of the signs were in like some Asian language. I'm not sure.
I'd have to look at it again.
Yeah. Like all those scenes, like they look so good, and the suit that has this kind of purple like technology that I don't even know how to explain it. This power, and then his gadgets. Like I'm excited to see that kind of stuff. That's always fun. You know, Iron Man has his gadgets, and Spider-Man had his, and Homecoming, and to see the spin that Black Panther will have, it's gonna be cool.
I mean, for me, I think I'm probably like a lot of people where I grew up with the classics. Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, everybody knows all of these iconic figures. Black Panther, I never read a single comic book, don't know anything about it other than the small little bit of research I've done since, he's kind of been popular. But I mean, from what I understand, he's extremely integral to the MCU and the future of the MCU. So for me, I'm so intrigued into not only kind of how they're going to explain the culture and all the background, but we basically kind of have this brand new superhero, and I don't have any preconceived notions of what he is or isn't supposed to do. So
yeah,
I'm excited because I can't be disappointed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
They can go anywhere with this character. And if it works for the MCU, if it works for the story, even if it's not accurate to the comics, and only the hardcore fans will probably have a problem with it.
Right.
If they do it well, even they will be forgiving and be like, okay, that's good.
I mean, we made a connection earlier with the reboots of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I love the new Spider-Man. I love Homecoming. I think that the kid that's playing him is fantastic. He's witty, he's sarcastic, he's got kind of a little bit of that awkwardness, but he plays a great superhero. The only thing that I don't like is he's Spider-Man, right? He's got a suit and he's got web shooting. He can shoot webs. He's not Iron Man.
Well,
he doesn't need the gadgets. I don't like the whole, we've got 650 different, modes of your suit and kill mode. And I was just kind of like, stop distracting me with Iron Man bullshit.
Yeah.
He's not Iron Man.
Well,
he doesn't need that shit.
I think the point of all of that was even he was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
And he'll probably get a little bit of that in his more advanced suit for Infinity War, because he probably will need that. But at the end, he gives him back just his regular, the original suit that he had given him. But I think all of those extra things, I think they're going to refrain. Because if they had that, then it would just be he would just be super overpowered and everything like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Black Panther. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do because we don't know. We saw a little bit of him in Civil War, which I loved, I think they introduced him really well. So he's going to be in this. And then it's crazy because this comes out in February, right? And then Infinity War will be out in May. So it's going to lead directly into it.
Yeah. 2018 is going to be the first part of 2018 is going to be exciting.
It's going to be so insane.
I can't wait. All right. So we had a little bit of a tease from Mark Hamill, who tweeted out, somebody had asked him if there's going to be any more trailers, and he kind of gave this, kind of rough tweet, this kind of vague tweet that, on October
9th.
Was it October 9th?
Yeah.
October 9th on Monday Night Football, you should watch it for no particular reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
And, of course, they dropped a new trailer on us on halftime.
Yeah. And this is the first real full trailer that we've gotten. The first one was a teaser, and we didn't get much story. We didn't have a lot to kind of get into. And that came out in May. I think they released that during Star Wars Celebration. And we haven't had anything since. So people were really... Drew's trying to be quiet, opening a can.
I didn't hear anything.
Did you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let us know if you heard anything. But this was our first real deep dive into what this movie's going to be about. And even Rian Johnson, the director, he was kind of on the fence, okay, if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch this thing. Don't watch the trailer. But he was kind of torn because it's such a good trailer that he wanted to share it with everyone. But he's like, people are going to pick this apart. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, and people have.
And they have. And they have.
So now it's our turn.
And it's hard to get an initial impression on something like this trailer because they throw so many things at you, but they throw it in a way that you're going, wait, did I really see what I saw? And if you're invested in kind of picking things apart and kind of understanding what's going on, it really forces you to watch it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times.
Yeah.
Slow motion.
Because the first time,
capture.
Yeah. Because the first time you watch it and you're just kind of like, oh wow, that's gonna happen, and it really tricks you.
Yeah.
And it throws you for a loop. But the more you watch it, the more you can kind of see, oh, maybe this is a misdirect. Maybe this is not what they're trying to. Maybe this is, clever editing, and it's not what it seems like at all. And that's kind of all the rage right now in trailers because there are so many people on the internet trying to pick these things apart that they almost have to misdirect you. They have to make you think one thing, or else
people are clever. They pick up on the
smart.
tiniest little details.
Yeah.
I don't know where they find the time, but yeah, some people out there, man, they just really delve into it. So we got a better look at my favorite name of all Star Wars characters,
Supreme Leader Snoke. Snoke.
Really?
Yeah, it's a great name.
Yeah. I love writing it. Snorkel. Snork. Snoke.
How do you think they come up with these names?
I don't know. I think they just, somebody walked in, tripped, fell on something, made a sound, and they're like, if you were to write that sound down, what would it be? Snoke. That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Let's make that our big bad guy.
Doesn't strike fear, doesn't have any intimidation. I mean, come on, you had Darth Maul, Darth Vader,
Darth Sidious,
Snoke.
Anyway, so we got our boy Snoke looking better than ever. Has a new bathrobe.
Side note, we are taking bets on the brand of hotel that he stole the bathrobe from.
Yeah. Could be a Marriott. Could be a a Best Western.
I think it's going to be like a Hilton brand.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
I mean, if
I mean, Snoke looks like he had an ex-wife named Paris, so
in another
it just
galaxy.
fits. Yeah, yeah. They did a Carl's Jr. commercial together. um, so we get a good look on, not on his face, but we get a better look at Snoke.
What do you think?
In kind of the scene that brings us to question his relationship and his kind of what's going to happen with Rey at the end of this movie.
Yeah, because I mean, we know that they're in the same room together, and how do they get there? What are they doing?
I
Yeah.
initially thought hot yoga. um,
Well, anything can happen in this crazy Star Wars universe, but
I just say that because I screamed the same way when I had to do that backward bend. Now we get we get some initial kind of inflect on. We've got Luke on this island who's obviously a little bit kind of isolated. He's been by himself for a long time. He's definitely a hermit. And now Rey comes out of nowhere, and he looks like he's just not into it. He's not having it. He's terrified.
yeah, like it almost seems like he know. I think he knows what this means, but he just doesn't want it to happen. Like he knows that eventually Rey would come or someone would come, but I think him now having this person in front of him, he's like, what? Like this is real and this is happening, and now I got to go do this, and I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to train you. I don't want any of this to happen. Like I just want to hide out here and do nothing. And I kind of feel like that because I feel like he's been through a lot. They kind of teased the rise and fall of this kind of Jedi Academy that he was trying to start.
Right.
And he doesn't want to go through that again. He doesn't want to mess up again. So he's kind of reluctant to train Rey. I think that's what it seems like in the trailer, which is really interesting. Like I'm really curious to see his thinking and what he's been doing since the fall of his little Jedi Academy.
I'm curious how they're going to bridge that missing time frame, because I don't think that I think everyone thinks that Luke is a good guy, that he's a Jedi, that he's a light, he's a light force user. He's not a dark force user.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that if you think back and you kind of go back to some of his previous actions, he's used both sides of the Force multiple times.
Yeah, and even in like Return of the Jedi, like he's on the brink of killing Darth Vader. And he's angry, and he's using that rage, something that Jedis are not supposed to do. And you see him like embrace that, and Darth, the Emperor is right there saying, yes, feed into that power, do it, kill Darth Vader. And eventually he doesn't, but he was like this close.
Yeah.
So it's, for me, like it's not a stretch to believe that he has delved into the dark side at some point, whether it was just for a little bit, maybe he was just testing out the waters, maybe he was testing out his powers, who knows. But I think there's an element to Luke that I think we can kind of expect this kind of vagueness and this kind of what they're calling like a gray Jedi who uses the light and the dark side of the Force and pulls from both, and there's no real label on it, and so they can just do whatever.
In a lot of the canon of the movies, you see so many instances where they're going, oh, there has to be a balance. You has to be a balance between the light and the dark. And, you have Luke Skywalker who's obviously and blatantly used both sides.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. In the beginning scenes when he's going to go and save Han, he's using Force choke on the guards, which is a dark side power.
Oh, I never even thought of that.
He's doing all these kinds of different things, and I'm kind of really interested to see how they explain the gap, how they kind of delve a little bit more into this academy that he was creating, and whether or not he was doing this academy to train Jedi in light, or if he was training people to do or
Both.
understand and embrace both.
And maybe that's what led to it going down.
Right. Because, I mean, obviously you have Kylo Ren who has this massive amount of raw power, but he's conflicted.
Yeah.
He delves into, he's obviously delved into the light, he's delved into the dark, and I think he's still on that fence.
Yeah. And that's one thing I think that Snoke kind of said. I forget, but it's his connection to both sides that makes him such a valuable asset to have for Snoke, because it makes a person more powerful to be able to reach on both sides and have that power.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because I think this whole dark side, light side thing it's created so many problems. And just like you said, like one can't exist without the other. And I think that's kind of Luke's thought process. And it's like, if there's no Jedi, then there's no Sith. If there's no light side, then there's no dark side. And we don't have to keep doing this.
Right. If you understand and embrace both,
then that's what a balance of the Force is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we have Luke. He's in isolation. He's obviously been hiding, from Snoke, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think at the end of this movie, or maybe going into the last one, do you think that Luke's going to be forced to sacrifice himself? That's going to be the end of his arc. He's going to kind of basically, sacrifice himself for the greater progression of Rey and Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I think that he will, like Obi-Wan, sacrifice himself. Yoda, he died. No one had to kill him. I think with Luke, if someone kills Luke, that's gonna be difficult, like to kind of get around. So
yeah, I think it'll either be a confrontation between Snoke and Luke, because I don't see Kylo Ren just kind of like
no, me either. I
whooping
never
all over Luke. I don't see that happening.
No, I want to see Luke take on Kylo and just like
whoop his ass.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even Rey, like to the point where I think there might be this kind of juxtaposition where Rey feels like Luke isn't teaching her everything, or is kind of betraying her. And so if maybe it's Rey, maybe it's Luke who turns on the other one, and they actually have like a full-on like battle, a full-on like fight. Maybe Luke just messes Rey up. Like that would be really interesting and cool to watch.
Look, you little snippet. Let me just show you.
Let me show you what I've been doing for the last few years.
Yeah.
Let me just show you real quick. There are so many different ways that this could go, because it's not just light side and it's not just Jedi and Sith anymore. There's this vagueness that makes this universe more interesting now.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of a natural progression. And like if people are watching like Rebels and like reading the books and the comics and stuff, you're kind of understanding that they're kind of pushing this, hey, maybe there's like a
causality.
Yeah, like there's a balance that can be struck.
Well, if anything in history, it's always doomed to repeat itself.
Exactly.
And I think, you had mentioned it before that Luke understands this. I mean, he's seen it. He understands all the history. And you can go through all of the movies. You have this light versus the dark and this constant conflict going back, thousands of years to, the old Republic and things like that. And at some point, once you realize you're in a loop, you want to stop it. You just want to get out of it. It's like, we just can't keep going through this over the ages and over the years.
Exactly.
Because nothing's going to change.
And I think that's exactly what Luke is trying to do. So, however that kind of plays out,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just excited to see. But Going into the trailer though, we see a few things. So some big things that I kind of remember from the trailer are, one, the scene of Kylo Ren, finger on the trigger, and we cut to Leia.
Right.
That was kind of, and it stops and it holds for a second, and it definitely wants you to think that this is happening.
Oh, it extremely teases you
It's
that,
like,
that he's going to kill his mom.
yeah, yeah. And you kind of see this
Which is a
look on
great
her
mislead.
face. Yeah, and yeah, of course, because the first viewing, you're like, what? But after a few viewings, you're kind of like, wait, is that the same scene? I mean, people are pretty calm in the background of Leia's
there's
shot.
no
They're walking
blinking
around like,
red alert lights. There's no.
it doesn't look like they're in the middle of,
chaos.
yeah, it doesn't look like the same.
Yeah.
But
she has that look. She has that kind of something. Either something has happened, something's about to happen. That doomed look that we've seen
yeah,
in Leia's eyes in how many movies now?
yeah, exactly.
Now, here's a this will bake your noodle.
Oh, okay.
Right? So this could be an ending scene or close to the ending where Luke has already sacrificed himself.
Oh no! And she's
And
feeling
she's
that.
feeling it. She feels that
Oh,
he's
man.
that his she feels that emptiness in the Force.
But with Carrie Fisher gone, she's filmed episode 8, so she's gonna be in this movie like, beginning to end, just like how it was intended to be.
Right. But we still don't know how they're going to
Yeah.
cut
So
out her character.
are they gonna just kill brother and sister in the same movie? If they did that, just imagine the internet.
Triggered.
Absolutely.
But I feel that this is going to be, just like the original trilogy, The Empire Strikes Back was the best one. It was the most exciting one. All the plot lines went in and out and twisted, and we had all this closure and all this new content. And this one looks like it's going to be along those same lines.
Yeah, yeah.
And I could easily see that we lose Luke and we lose Leia
No.
in this movie, and then going into the last movie, yeah, we get. I think we're going to get some closure of this sort of story arc, but we're also going to get that kind of, okay, and this is how everything's going to go, because now we have all these new people. We have the next generation, that's going to take this in a positive kind of
And
direction.
I think, you know what? Now that I think of it, I think maybe getting rid of those old characters might be the best thing for this new trilogy, because like we had Han Solo and the story's still revolving around Luke in The Force Awakens, and you get a lot of Leia too. This one, I think we're gonna expand on the new characters, but still it's a Luke story. Like now Luke is front and center. And then they were saying that episode 9 was supposed to be Leia's movie. But is it too much of the old characters? Are we not delving into new stuff too much? So if they were to kill both of them in this movie, I think that might lend itself to episode 9 and making Rey's story more...
You're more invested.
Yeah, you're more invested in her.
You're not waiting around, okay, let's just finish off with the old... Let's get on with the new.
Yeah.
Let's
I could see it,
let's
but...
cut it in the second one, and let's make the last one about the new generation and going forward and their conflicts and stories.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, but let's see. The last shot of the trailer, and we had kind of discussed this. So we have Rey, and she's like, look, I want someone to show me the way. I want someone to teach me.
Yeah, all this shit's happening to me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to make of it. I was this girl on this planet waiting for her parents to show up after god awful long time.
Yeah.
And deluding myself. And now I'm caught up in all this stuff. All these things are awakening inside of me. I don't know how to deal with it. I need someone to show me.
And then it cuts to Kylo Ren with his hand outstretched, ready to take Rey. and
with a zipper on his face.
with a nice little space band-aid. I loved that ending to the. I thought it was a perfect ending to that trailer.
And of course, another masterful deception and mislead because it makes you think of one thing that they're going to get together, maybe have some little space babies.
I didn't think that, but look, I think a lot of people theorize that this could happen, so I think that's why it's such a good tease, because it's like, oh man, like I thought of this back in The Force Awakens, now it's happening, but maybe it's not, because we kind of looked at it over and over, and maybe they're not the same scene.
Yeah, I mean, when I initially saw the trailer and I saw that scene, and I was like, that was nice try. That was yeah. You almost got me, but I think I think the lighting's different. And then I sort of looked at it. I kind of watched it again, and I was like, you know what? The orange glow's there. Maybe it is the same scene. But then seeing them next to each other, side by side, it's two totally different scenes. The lighting is completely different.
Yeah.
I think she's
really
talking to Luke in the beginning. Maybe they're having some s'mores, in a campfire.
Yeah. And this is
some
like
weenies,
or
whatever they can find on the rock.
Some porgs.
Oh, is that the little screaming penguin thing that's on
the little puffin thing? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the bobblehead on the dash of the Millennium Falcon. Oh my god. Oh.
You're excited for those, right?
I get it. And see, so this is and Disney's brilliant.
Yeah.
They're brilliant because what was the number one selling toy from Force Awakens?
BB-8.
BB-8.
Yeah.
Now everybody's got BB-8.
Yes.
So now what do we need? We need a space penguin, right? We need a space penguin
It's so cute.
that is doing Chewbacca karaoke on the dash of the Millennium Falcon. I mean,
now, people were theorizing that Chewbacca is going to eat these porgs. What do you think?
I would giggle like a schoolgirl if after that scene that we see from the trailer, that little thing's going, "Rah!" and Chewbacca just looks down and just pops him in his mouth. And just goes, "Brr." And gives us like a little Chewbacca burp.
Yeah.
Burp. I'd be ecstatic, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Because they're making it cute.
They're making
because
it cute.
It's going to be the toy of Christmas.
Look, it's going to be in one scene. It's going to be on the island. As long as it's not following them around, I'm good. Like, it's fine. I'm okay with it. But anyway,
I think Rey's going to be walking around, and it's going to be in her pocket like a pocket protector, just kind of hanging out. It'll
like a Disney princess.
Yeah. It'll pop out and steal some snacks off the table, and then run and scurry back in her pocket. It's going to be. All it's going to be is just marketing. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
I get it, but. God, it's so blatantly obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well...
The only thing that I hope, and this is the last thing I say on this, is that it's not infused with the little midichlorians and has some kind of force connection thing.
Well, that's
like it floats itself around in and out of her pocket.
Well, that's the thing. That's actually the root of all force in the universe.
Is the space penguins.
Yeah.
And because they poop out the midichlorians.
Yeah, and then that's how Jedi gain their power.
They're bitten
by the porgs.
By the porgs.
Wow.
We've discovered.
this is a whole new theory.
This is how it starts. It's just like vampires. You start with the first one, and then they just start getting bit, and then they're all biting each other, and then it just becomes a whole dental commercial.
That'd be amazing. I would love that. Okay, but going back, when they're roasting the porgs, and Rey is kind of talking to Luke, so that's what you think that scene is, and I actually agree with that. I think the way that Rey is kind of looking up, she kind of looks like she's kind of relaxed. She's kind of just sitting there.
Yeah, she's chilling.
She's relaxing, and she's just by the campfire, and she's like, "Hey, look, like I just need someone to teach me, And I think that's what that scene is. So I think you're right on that. Who Kylo Ren is reaching out to, it could be Rey. Who do you think he's reaching out to?
Luke.
Why?
I don't know. I just have this feeling that
I'm actually, I think that's probably one of my most anticipated like relationships to see on screen finally is Luke and Kylo.
yeah, what
Because-
happened?
Yeah, because clearly Kylo Ren destroyed the Jedi Academy and turned on Luke. And I want to see that relationship, and I think we're going to see that scene. Do you think we'll see that scene of him going bad and like when shit hit the fan and like
They have to.
yeah.
They have to give us some context, or else, there's an empty relationship.
Yeah.
We won't have any kind of basis to go, why is there so much animosity? Why is there so much rage?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Why did he turn? What was the push?
Mhm.
If they just gloss over it, or they just don't even tell us, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt that story, and it's going to hurt that movie. I think they're going to need something to go back. I mean, we've already seen some flashbacks of a burning structure, and like Luke coming out of the rubble, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that it plays into the same one where he reaches up to R2D2,
Yeah,
R2D2.
and it looks like the same scene,
Yeah.
the one that we saw in The Force Awakens. So yeah, I'm excited, and I think that we're gonna finally see that scene. Do you think Luke's gonna fight anyone in this movie? Do you think he's gonna have? Because no one knows if he has his lightsaber or not, his green lightsaber.
And that seems to be the question that everybody's asking. What happened to the green lightsaber?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really care. Either
Yeah.
he's got it in his backpack or he doesn't. Or he's made
what?
another one.
What I think would be really cool is I don't think he's gonna have the green lightsaber. I think he's either going to have a red one, just for the hell of it, just for fun. Because
He
all
could
of
have
them,
a white one.
and that's my other thing is like Ahsoka
Yeah.
in Rebels,
He's
a gray
he's
Jedi.
just completely
If they, cause,
delved himself to the equal balance, because
Yeah.
that's what he's kind of come to in his, in his isolation,
yeah,
that, he has a white one.
I think that would be amazing. I think that because we've seen it in Rebels, we haven't seen a white lightsaber in a canon, film.
I'd like to see how they do that in live action.
Yeah, how it
Because
would
it's easy to do
look.
red, it's easy to do blue and green and even purple.
Yeah,
The white is going to be interesting, because the fun thing that you get from the different colors is you get that reflection.
yeah.
You get that light source.
Yes.
So
well, now it's just a white light
nah,
source.
now it's just a white one. So
It's not as fun, but I think it would be cool to see that. I'm gonna put my money down that Luke has a white lightsaber.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Because there's no sign of the green one. There's no sign of any, but I feel like if he were to have one, I think it would be. a
Maybe
white
he
one.
just doesn't use one anymore. Maybe he's going to have lightning.
Oh, imagine that. That would be so good.
I don't think he will, though.
I mean,
I don't think I even if he knew it, I don't think he'd use it, because
well,
he's not going to relate himself to the Emperor,
I guess so.
and that's all you think about with the Emperor.
Yeah.
You think about the lightning. It was really shocking for people when Palpatine
nice pun.
fought. Huh?
I said nice pun. Shocking.
I meant that. When Palpatine fought Yoda and he used a lightsaber.
Yeah.
I thought the interesting thing is Vader. Okay, when Vader fights with his red lightsaber, he's not flashy. He's not whipping around and turning around and spinning and whacking you multiple. He's doing
The minimum.
precise, powerful, these overbearing slashes and strokes.
Yes.
And you see a little bit of the same thing when Palpatine fights Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this very distinct style of almost thrusting instead of slashing because he holds
Yeah.
it like it's almost like it's a javelin. I thought he was trying to spear him,
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
this very
there's a theory
controlled
about
kind of
there's a
style
theory
to it.
about what's going on with that.
Oh,
Oh, you haven't heard this? Okay, well, so
spoiler.
there's a theory, and this was back when The Force Awakens came out, where in that final scene between Rey and Kylo, Rey does that jabbing move like 3 times, and people are like, the only other person who's done that
It's Palpatine.
is Palpatine. So what does that mean? Like, is she some kind of descendant or reincarnation or something? Because we've never seen that in anyone else. It doesn't seem like a popular kind of fighting style. So that's like a theory.
Could Rey be? Would the timeline fit if Rey was? No, not really.
What?
Palpatine's daughter.
Well, I mean, who knows? But there are all these other theories that she's some kind of reincarnation of like the chosen one or whatnot.
Right.
But,
She's a midichlorian baby.
well, see, because it's implied that Darth Plagueis, who was Palpatine's master, who he killed, could manipulate the midichlorians to his will and create life, but also prevent people from dying. He could create life.
But he couldn't save himself.
But he couldn't save himself. But that whole scene where Palpatine explains that, he says it to Anakin in a way that, we already know that Anakin is a virgin birth. We already knew that. And so when he said that, he was implying that Darth Plagueis kind of put this plan into motion to create an heir to the dark side, which was Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this theory is, and that's what it's kind of implied. They never flat out say that this is the case, but they kind of imply that by
They
that
skirt
story.
around the edges on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if maybe Rey, because we don't know who her parents are, if she's some kind of reincarnation, maybe Darth Sidious learned that power and is creating his own little Force baby, and that's Rey, and maybe that's why she has these kind of distinctions that link her to him. That's a theory that I've heard. I don't even know what theory I buy into with her parentage.
I don't.
We'll see. I mean,
I just hope they explain it well.
yeah, as long as they do it well, I'll be happy. The only way I wouldn't be happy is if they said, "Oh yeah, she's Luke's daughter."
That would suck.
I would hate that. That's such a cop out. Like, that's such a, like, why would you throw us that mystery in the first place if you're just gonna say,
You're
"Oh
just
yeah"?
gonna say, yeah, it's his kid.
So, but at this point, I don't think that's the case at all.
So, do you think someone's gonna lose a limb?
I mean, it's tradition, isn't it?
I know.
Let's have Rey lose a limb.
I think that would be the most appropriate. I mean, Kylo already has a zipper on his face.
Yeah, he already got messed up in The Force Awakens, so you can't have that again.
Yeah, and I'm sure he
if
probably
this
has
is-
a replaced hip as well.
And then also Finn got messed up in The Force Awakens, so it's not going to be him. And I don't think he's going to be touching a lightsaber anytime soon either.
No.
He's kind of off on his own story, and that's another thing that's kind of like Empire is like these main characters are
They're
separated.
all split off. Yeah.
So that's going to be really interesting.
I hope they don't. We talked about this. On our
On the first draft of this.
on the first draft. Please just do not mimic. I mean, the first one was such a mimic from A New Hope. Don't mimic this one. I mean, we already see the AT-ATs and the whole thing, and it's just come on.
I get that. I think they've learned the lesson. I think Rian Johnson is smarter than to do that, and I think he put those AT-AT looking things to kind of be like, hey, this is like Empire, and people are going to expect it to be like Empire and have this kind of scene play out exactly like it did on Hoth. But I think he's going to twist it, and he's going to do something new and refreshing. So I'm hopeful.
If this happens, I'm going to lay this kind of thing on you.
Do it.
I will not watch the last movie.
Oh, shut up.
I absolutely will not watch.
No.
Okay, wait. Now, we have this scene where, Rey's doing this back bend yoga pose with Snoke in the frame. Now, play this scene out. Snoke goes, I am your father. and then he cuts her friggin' hand off, and she goes, "No!" If
They
they
wouldn't
do
do
that,
that.
if
No.
they do that,
And that's why, actually, I take that back. I don't think Rey's going to lose a limb. Because if she does, then that's going to be another thing that's
mimicry.
just
Yeah.
like... So, what if Luke just loses the other hand? Now he's
He loses.
just handless.
I think Luke's gonna die though. I mean, but maybe he'll lose his other hand first, and somebody be like, "So let's just give this guy a hand." You know, we get a little kind of comedy in there. But yeah, I hope they don't do that kind of mimicry, and it's like,
Nah, I
come
don't
on,
think they will.
guys.
I don't think they will.
You know, cut her foot off at least or something. Give
And
her a
that's why I
peg leg
think
and a parrot. The little thingy. It's already
Borg.
there. It's on her shoulder.
She's a space pirate
She's
now.
going to lose a leg. She's going to get a peg leg with a kickstand, and she's going to have the thing on her shoulder going, rah. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now.
All right, so that's your theory. That's your one theory. You don't get another one. That's it.
I'm all out of theories.
That's your big one. No, I think they want people to expect them to mimic Empire, and I think it's just going to go a whole different way.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a movie that we never even expected. That's what I hope.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
I think the last thing I'm gonna brush on is I can't wait to see the confrontation between Finn and Phasma.
Yes.
That's gonna be phenomenal.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get a little bit more of Phasma's character and a little bit more of her story because I mean, so much potential for a great character.
Yeah, great actor.
And
great.
she's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did great. She does great in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So I think
it's just like the best armor
yeah.
in the entire movie.
Yeah, the coolest looking character, and they really messed up in not doing anything with her in the Force Awakens. But you know, it's a trilogy, and I think everyone will get their chance to kind of shine. So
Nice pun.
oh, look at that.
Look at that.
I slipped that in.
Nice. Subtle. Oh, so subtle. It's like just the tip.
But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a fight that I really want to see. Anything else?
No, I think we've kind of baked each other's noodles a little bit.
Oh yeah,
today.
My noodles baked. Absolutely.
All right,
But,
so episode 2. Thanks for joining us. We'll be
Yes.
back next week with some more fun. We're gonna talk a little bit about hopefully Dune. See what else is coming out on the movie market and some new news.
Yeah. And then until then, you guys can reach us at our email. So that's postproductionpod@gmail.com. Shoot us any questions, any theories that you have,
Especially the theories.
Yeah, we want to hear them.
Yeah,
We want to
if
hear
you're
these
triggered-
theories.
Talk to us.
Yes, please. We'd love to know because I think we're kind of set in our theories and our views on all of this. So, you know, if you are someone who is super excited for Justice League, tell us that we're wrong because I'd love to hear that.
Give us a valid reason.
Let's make this fun. So, you can reach us there, Twitter, Instagram.